So thinking about this practically, if I am 4 and my sister is 2, the difference in our ages is 2. In a year's time, if I add a year to both of us, I will now be 5 and she will now be 3. The difference in our ages is still 2. So if we add or subtract an amount from both sides of this equation or an equation, the difference will be the same. So here, instead of having £24.99 and £540.50, I'm going to add 1 pence to each side to make so £24.99 will become £25, because that's a really nice number to work with. And £540.50 will become £540.51. And then I should be working mentally. So I can take the £20 away first. So think what that would be. And then I can take my £5. And this would be a lot easier doing it mentally than a written subtraction and trying to exchange across multiple columns. So my final answer would be £515.51. So let's look at that again. Remember, if you add or take away amounts from both sides of the equation, the difference will still be the same. So here I have 100 and 200ths, so 100.02, and I'm taking away 54.37, so 54 and 37 hundredths. So here you would, if we were writing it down, you would have to exchange 1, 2, 3, 4 times, because if we look in our tens column, the 0 is smaller than the 5. If I look in my ones column, the 0 is less than the 4. If I look in my tenths column, the 0 is less than 3. And if I look in my hundredths column, the 2 is less than the 7. So I'd have to exchange 4 times. And that could lead to lots of areas where I could do incorrect working. So instead, I'm just going to use a different strategy, picking the best strategy for the problem that is in front of me. And I am going to take away, have a think, if you can identify what I would take away from each side. I'm going to take away two hundredths from each side. So I would now have 100, and I'm going to take away 54.35. So I've taken away 2 hundredths from both sides of the equation. And then I'm going to work it out mentally. And this time I'm going to use I will use a counting up strategy. So I'm going to count to my next whole number, which would be 65 hundredths, or 0.65. So I would now be at 55. And then from 55 to 100, I would count on 45. So my answer would be 45.65. Let's show that again. So here I would have had to exchange more than once, because if I line my equation up, in the tens column, the 0 is less than the 5. In the ones column, the 1 is less than the 4. And in the tenths column, the 4 is less than the 9. So I would have had to, in this problem, exchange 3 times. So instead, I'm going to do it mentally. And I am going to have a look and see what I'm going to take away from each side. And remember, it doesn't always have to be take away. In the first problem with £24.99, I added. But this time I'm going to take away 1 whole and 4 tenths from each side. So instead of having 201 and 4 tenths, I'm going to have 200. And instead of having 54 and 9/10, I'm going to have 53 and 5/10. And then I'm going to use the counting on strategy to find the difference between these two numbers. So I would count on 5/10 to get to 54. Then from 54, I would count on 46 to get to 100. And from 100, I would count on another 100 to get to 200. So my answer would be 146.5, or 146 and 5/10. I hope that all makes sense, and now I'd like you to do some independent work. You can write your results or your answers on paper and upload a photo, or you could do it on Word, it's up to you. So I would like you to create 5 questions where there's no exchanging required. So this is where all the digits on the top are greater than the digits on the bottom, and you just can work simply from left to right. Then 5 questions where you have one exchange. So this is where one digit on the top number is less than 1 on the bottom number. All the rest should be greater. And that is where you have to exchange 1 on the left-hand column for 10 on the right. And that was the work with the counters. And then 5 questions with 2 exchanges where you just either add or subtract the same amount from both sides of the equation. So you should be using 3 different strategies for the 3 different subsets of questions. Upload your work to your digital jotter under handouts, and the title should be today's date. I hope that all makes sense, and I look forward to seeing your work. Please email me a.brathwaite@fetties.com if you have any queries or you just need a little bit of reassurance.